Good morning. Welcome to another day of Bible prophecy. My name is Prophet Curly Zell. You know, before I get started on this segment, I would like to bring to your attention that something that I experienced the weekend, uh, November 2010, 13, the day Saturday 13. Now, you know, you know, I went to this place in Conway, Arkansas to get my transmission fluid changed. And I probably shouldn't be saying this, but I'm going to say it bit to show you the mindset of people. You know, the world that we live in is just so intriguing, and it brings in to remind us what kind of day we're living in. Well, as I went to the ATM machine to get money at the ATM machine, because sometimes some bills I like to pay up front, not to use them at the ATM card, and I like to get rid of those bills right then and knowing that the man is having paid. So I went to the bank teller, one bank teller where I bank at, to get money at the ATM machine, and the thing was not working. That something had, we're having so much problem out of the economic downdraft. So, sometimes you just can't take measures as valid. You have to get what you can and go and pay your bills then because, you don't want to leave nobody out there hanging on a string and something happen. So the ATM didn't work, and I went to another bank of the same choice where I bank at. And the ATM there didn't work, so I drove to a third bank, and then I drove just since it was so hard for me to get my resource out of these banks, I drove out $400 out the ATM machine. Gets back here to this transmission place where I supposed to had my transmission would change and new gas on my van. Once I got there, I had the transmission fluid change, and there was these families out of Gentile. They are younger people than myself, but they have a stigmatization designed towards the black man. Even the black man have a stigmatization towards the black man. There's no refuge for us. Where this man here, out of Gentile, act as if I'm going to take some. The people of the black race try to shove a drug pipe down your throat, and I'm over 63 plus years old. I'm just telling you this in your mind. But the young gangbanger be trying to shove a drug pipe down your throat if you allow them, using the form of intimidation. But on this hand, we have the people out the Gentile thing that if you ain't got a drug pipe stuck down your throat and you're wearing your pants down, you trying to take something. So as I was getting ready to pay for my work being did on my transmission of my vehicle, changing the oil and filter and stuff, because I hadn't had it did in 3 years. And as I stood there at the counter getting ready to pay for my the work had been performed, the man out of Gentile with his two children had a dollar bill, trying to get some change to pay for his children to get, a little candy or something out of the machine. Well, he put $1 up there, and as I got ready to pay the man for the thing, he reached and grabbed his dollar as if I was getting ready to take his dollar. So it kind of was an insult to how fast he grabbed, and just picked it back off the counter. He should have watched his surroundings while he was there before he even take the dollar out. If it was his last dollar. So he looked at me when he grabbed it as if I was gonna snatch his dollar. So I had $400 in my pocket that I had just gotten out the ATM machine. So I just laid my billfold over where you can see that I had the $400 since he was grabbing his dollar as if I was going to take his dollar. And I began to peel $20 at a time till the man had did my work on my transmission. Counted him out $120 because his charge was $180 for changing my transmission fluid. And so the guy stood there, picked to jerk his dollar out off the counter as if I was gonna take, and he looked there, is amazed, and the next thing you know, I know good and well he was stigmatized. Well, what he done with this kind of money? Because Conway is a poverty-stricken town. You know, they don't pay but a certain amount of wage, minimum wage job time. And I guess he was wondering, how did I get this much money? But I had worked for the railroad 22 years, and this is a testimony within itself. When you done work for a locomotive, diesel locomotive mechanic for 21 or 22 years, it tells you something about the characteristics of the person upon whom I was. I was faithful in my workmanship in order to work that many years on a job. Because some people don't work on a job that's all. The reason I'm telling you this is because I want to set a pattern about the characteristics of peoples. The characteristics of peoples, which becomes their identification. The characteristic of a person becomes his trademark, which identifies the person. Whether he have faith in what he do, or not a non-believer. Because this story is going to go a little bit farther, and you could tell a difference between a thief and a robber, or a man that works for what he gets, through the characteristic of the person, through his background, through his legacy, upon which he traveled in the time and place. This is the same thing that the Bible is set upon, to identify the thief from the robber. This is where God sets up and tears down the infrastructure of men and women. You have to understand the characteristics of the person. If the man snatched his $1 bill, thought I was going to take it, she's not identifying the characteristics of me, but identifying the characteristics of himself or the people that he have been around. Well, after the man snatched his dollar down, I wasn't concerned about it, because I know it's in God's word, he will shelter his own. It doesn't matter what kind of system you're living in. It doesn't matter what surrounds you in the point of time in your life. You could be among robbers and thieves, and God will find a way to deliver you out of there if your faith and your integrity is towards him. You can't say that I live by faith over here and you doubt God over here. You got to understand that the race is not given to the swift, and neither is it given to the strong, but the man that maintains his faith, God takes him into conditions and he leads him out the same way he carried him in there. You can say I'm lying all you want. It doesn't even matter. I'm telling you. I speak about conditions being around me, but I walk in and I walk out.